6 experienced Fuji Xerox Malaysia subject matter experts with 12 sessions of 6 discussion topics covering current business challenges and threats. Today we have our last 6 sections and we'll be having 3 sections in the morning from 9:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. and another 3 sections in the afternoon from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Our break will be from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. and each of our presentation will take approximately 30 minutes and another 10 minutes will be allocated for Q&A. Our first session will start at 9:30. We have the topic maximum cost optimization. Secure your document when working remotely. The next topic at 12:15 will be enabling the first line of defense with your office devices. Before we go for a break, at 11, we'll have rebounding business and accelerate through vital applications. Then we'll go for a break, and after we come back from the break at 2 p.m., we'll have revitalizing business through outsourced services. At 2:45, we have Hello World, Let's Collaborate. And the last session for today at 3:30, COVID digital era, adopt, adapt, evolve. The right way to go digital in new normal era. Okay, before we get started, let's do a little housekeeping. If you have any questions for us during the presentation, please type them into the compose box in the Q&A panel on the right side of the screen. We'll go through the sections at the end of each session. If you don't get to your question today, don't worry. We'll sure to follow up and come back to you on this. Okay, we will also like to seek for your valuable feedback on our events. You can scan the QR code or you can go to the link you see on the screen after the end of the session. This will be also available at our event information site. The page where you access the link to this session is below the event link. Okay, please complete and submit the form and you might be one of our lucky winners to win a mystery gift from us. So make sure you stay till the end. Now, without further ado, I'm pleased to introduce our first speaker for this session, Mr. M.K. Farhan, a Solutions Technical Engineer from Solution Business Operations. And then in the next 30 minutes, you will learn from him how to work remotely, how working remotely impacts an organization's document security risk. How can your organization mitigate the risk of data leakage and mapping the document security? Let's kick things off by welcoming Farhan. Over to you, Farhan.
Thank you, Eva. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Tachahalbanakam. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Digital DocuWorld 2020, our first digital DocuWorld, transforming your business in the new normal era. Fuji Xerox setting up new standard for you. All right, for those who just coming in, I would like to warmly welcome you. My name is Farhan, and today, the first talk track of the day, we're going to talk about maximum cost optimization, MCO, not your normal MCO, but maximum cost optimization, securing your document while working remotely. So for today, we're going to talk specifically on how to maintain your security of your files, your documents, while you're working anywhere, everywhere. But before that, I would like to have a certain kind of interaction with you, if possible. Okay, just now Eva already explained on how to use the Q&A section. Maybe I can just play a bit on how to show it to you on how it works. Okay, so you can see there's a live event Q&A. Okay, now I would like for you to press the Ask a Question button there, and then type yeah. Okay, can you do it for me right now? Type yeah on your Q&A section. I just want to have a positive vibe this morning so that we can start in a very fresh way. Type yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, just one yeah. All right, not yes, yeah. Okay, can I see that coming? Yes, a lot of yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, after this we can sing Usher song. Yeah. All right. So, are you ready? Okay, let's start. I'm going to give you a quick introduction, 60 seconds about myself, so we're not going to waste a lot of time on myself, of course. All right, so let's move on. Quick introduction about myself. My name is Muhammad Ghazi Farhan bin Abidin, but normally people call me MK Farhan. I'm a technical solution engineer. I'm working with a solution department in Fuji Xerox. We have a lot of range of solution software focused on the document lifecycle, from document management software, document handling software, security document, and etc. Before I started my journey with Fuji Xerox, I have also embarked in a lot of journey in defense industry, oil and gas industry, and also I did my postgraduate studies in Fourth IR. So you can see here a lot of lists there. Okay, so Fourth IR, Fuji Xerox, really a good company. They allow me and give me an opportunity to do a lot of research on how our customer embark their digital transformation journey. So I would like to share with you our insight and research that I've done during my postgraduate studies in international relations, specifically on Fourth IR. And Fuji Xerox has well known with our digital transformation plan. We have a very good MFD. We have bring a lot of customer in a smart work gateway and by enabling them in the digitalization process. That's 60 seconds about me. Now let's start and get ready for this. Who would have thought that?
Wahai rakyat Malaysia yang saya hormati sekalian, pada hari ini kita semua sedang pun berhadapan dengan situasi yang agak membimbangkan berikutan penularan jangkitan COVID-19.
COVID-19, yes, it's a pandemic crisis. It's not a normal crisis faced by everyone around the world, throughout the globe. Every industry has been impacted. And for you and for all of us, it has been impacted heavily on the way we work. It impacts to our workplace, it's changing the trend. Because every time we have a crisis, there will always be a changes in the sense of our attitudinal. So just imagine right now, previously without the COVID-19, we work quite normal in the office, but after COVID-19 happened, everything needs to be quarantined. We have the movement control order, we have a lockdown, we can't go to office, and everyone needs to work from home. So we have a new trend here. By working remotely, location become irrelevant, and everyone started to work according their time from home. Quite flexible. But working remotely doesn't stop there. Working remotely changed a lot of things in terms of the process and everything else. Just imagine like this. We have categorized 3 important parts on working remotely, the trend. As you can see here in the screen, we have 3 top trends on work remotely, where there are a huge impact on these 3 trends. 1, 2, 3. Number 1 is collaborate, the way we collaborate between one another from office to home. And now we have hybrid environment where some of us working in office, some of us still need to work from home because we need to segregate the team, or else we can't avoid from having the we can't win from having this war with COVID-19. Also, together on this is the process. Every time we talk about process, let's put in mind about the approving process, because we have a remote office right now. We are collaborating from one place to another point around the world. How can we fasten the process in approving something? So we need to think about that as well. And last but not least, when we work remotely, there is a tendency of security issues, because we're going to transfer a lot of files from our office to our home in order to allow everyone to continuously working. So business resiliency will be the most important part here, apart from digital innovation. So I would like to ask you, can you type in the ask a question section, which part do you think that have impacted you the most? Is it number 1, collaborate, number 2, process, or number 3, secure? You can type number 1, 2, 3 in the Q&A section. I just want to have a rough overview on who's attending today's webinar. Can I see number 1, 2, or 3? Or maybe you can type 1 and 2, 2 and 3, or 1, 2, 3 all together. Can I see coming? Okay, yes. Yeah, some of you cannot see because I see it privately. Yes, number 3. Wow, there's a lot. Number 3, of course, because yeah, people coming here for the security part. Yes, 1 also quite huge. Okay, if you are interested on collaboration tools, still stay with us until 3:30. I have another session at 3:30 p.m. I'm going to show you at the end the teaser of this afternoon session. All right, so today we're going to focus on number 3, security. All right. When we talk about security, we are getting more connected than before, right? Yes, of course. And then this is the era of hyperconnectivity. We're becoming more open, more transparent. But the weird part is, it's also have pushed us to the edge of insecurity. The more we open, the more insecure we are. The reason why is when we open up our space, we have a lot of issues in terms of security. I add a bit on sound effect so that it will sound more dramatic. All right, as you can see here, there are a lot of issues happening everywhere around the world. I would like to pick and choose one or two from. It took 279 days, the average time to identify a breach in 2019. Just imagine 279 days when we have 365 days. It will take around how many time? More than 6 months. Just imagine we have a data leakage happen in our office and we can't detect it after 6 months. And 17,000 malware alerts each week. Wow, this scared me, really, because 58% of the total breaches in 2019 were the result of hacking incident. Okay, so we need to think the way to get it clear here, to secure our document and files. Your data need a protection because the threat is real. And then the security is imminent because you need to use your cost right now by maximizing the cost optimization towards the right digital innovation to secure your reputation, to secure your corporate identity. Because why? Data breach resistant. No one is immune. Same like COVID-19, unless we found the vaccine one day, inshallah. So I would like to I would like to take a few snapshots on what really happening during COVID-19. I add a bit of sound effect, so it will sound. Reason I put Singapore as our neighborhood country here, because there is a case where civil servant got arrested for leaking info on COVID-19 cases. What happened? This particular person released a very sensitive document about the MCO, while the public didn't know at that time. And then he just transferred one particular document to another person. What happened next? It became viral. And then they can't control it because the document has been leaked out everywhere. So this is the important part, not only on the private sector, but also government. If you are in political party, that's even worse, seriously. So now we get the prolegomena of the whole things. The introduction has been given to you. Let's move on what will be the agenda today. I will guide you through on 5 agendas that we're going to cover today. Firstly, I'm going to cover on the maximum cost optimization, why I use maximum cost optimization and how does that relate to security. Secondly, I'm going to explain what is data protection in the sense of theoretically and also practically. All right. Number 2 here, identifying issues and risks. We're going to detect based on the business process. Sometimes most of our customers didn't aware that there are a lot of risks happening in their environment. Previously, in the office environment, we have been being a consultant for a lot of our customers. They ask us how can they leverage our tools in enhancing their security policy in their office. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to identify the issues and risks. And number 3 here, I'm going to explain the power of Final Code. Final Code is one of the tools that we always propose to our customer. We advocate our customer with this tool because this tool is very, very good. Not because I'm promoting it, but technically this is the tool that persistently secure your files anywhere, everywhere. It will be much more better than other products in the market right now, seriously. And last one, we're going to explain on how Fuji Xerox can help during this new normal era. I know some of the organizations are facing a lot of problems, challenges, obstacles. It's very hard, very tough, but we need to maximize the cost optimization in order for you to survive in this pandemic crisis. Okay, so let's move on with number one, maximum cost operation, the risk of working remotely. For your information, we did several explanation yesterday. This is the model that Fuji Xerox used during the new normal era. We understand that there are a few companies are still adapting to the crisis. Some of them quite fast. They have adopted a new approach by leveraging the digital innovation and technology, even the tools, to evolve and becoming a value optimization organization. All right. So this is where we going to define our customer right now. Is it they are still adapting it, or they are already fast forward by evolving into a digital transformed company? So we're going to put you in two sections here. If you would like us to evaluate your situation, please call us. We are really looking forward for that. We have Go Digital program and Go Transform program. I'm going to explain that further, but today let's have a look on adopting stage, because adopting is where the cost optimization happens. It's not about cost cutting anymore. We are looking at the middle here, because if you look at it, cost optimization is where you start to plan and purchase new tools for you to become a business resiliency organization. All right, but not all cost optimization initiatives yield the same benefit. What I mean here is, when we talk about cost optimization, a lot of our customer will say that, okay, what will be the ROI, the return of investment, if we purchase your tools? Well, it's quite hard to answer that, because why? When we talk about security, the ROI framework is totally different compared to automation, or maybe on how you're going to use AI in your company. The ROI will be totally different, because why? For the ROI on security issues or security tools, it will be slightly different. It needs to predict what will be the losses in the future if the data is being breached or leaked. So based on that kind of losses, based on the losses calculation and the estimation that we can predict in the future, if there is a data breach or data leakage, how does that impact to your company? So it will be based on assumption. And sometimes it can be interpreted differently from one department to another department. Normally, this happens in any organization, because finance will have their own views on this. IT department will have their own views on this, or maybe admin also have their own thoughts on how to optimize the cost during this crisis. But the key point here is try to evaluate the security policy first, because you're going to have a hybrid office after this, where some of the workforce need to work from different section or different place to another. How can you secure your sensitive files? Just imagine if your pricing sheet is being leaked out. All your products pricing lists are inside that particular document. It's being leaked out, it's being given to your competitor. What will happen to your business? Wow, it's very hard to imagine that kind of thing to happen. It will leverage your competitors. It will destroy your reputation, because you can no longer bargain, or you can no longer having the advantage on selling your products to your customer. Hence, that's the reason why when we put here from Gartner, you can see the disruption, mission, time and risk is very high for the factors that affected your security policy. I've put some circle here based on these 3 points. Improve data governance. It will be in the middle between high and medium benefits, but the disruption that can happen, you can see at the highest level, all right? So here what I would like to highlight to you is, based on these 3 points, organizations should take 3 key actions. This is based on PwC. They did some research in Malaysia and around the world. 3 things that you need to remember. When you want to establish your newly implemented remote working practice, security, security, security. That's number 1. Number 2, ensure the continuity of critical security functions. Once anything happen to your infrastructure or environment, what will happen to your business? We are talking about the market speed right now. We need to move on from adopting to evolving. And number 3 is, how can you counter the opportunistic threats, the malware, the leakage from insider that may be looking to take advantage of this situation? These 3 things, try to ask yourself first. Have you done anything towards your organization? Maybe yes, maybe no. Let's have a look on the market itself. In Southeast Asia, compared to other organizations in the world, if you can see that the CIOs, the Chief Information Officer, are mostly looking at cybersecurity as their main concern. So it's quite normal for everyone out there to look at the cybersecurity. And if you plan to adopt for artificial intelligence in Southeast Asia, it's still slow. Don't really so ambitious. I'm not saying that being ambitious is wrong, but sometimes during the crisis, we need to look back at our operation. Is it necessary things to purchase at this time? When we look onto something, wow, it's very modern, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, blockchain, and etc. Yes, it sounds good, but does it worth for your investment? Does it worth to optimize your cost to purchase such thing that is not really that important compared to protecting your reputation in the market? So cybersecurity is something that you need to think of, not about the firewall or something, but about your file, about your document. This is the one that always being missed out by a lot of companies out there. So now you get it. Why we put maximum cost optimization in the first place. Now let's move on what actually data protection, because I keep mentioning about protecting your data, protecting your file. What will be the overview of all these things? So when we talk about data protection, we are talking about file security. File security, because we are Fuji Xerox. We have been known as the document company previously before we changed our direction to become their communication partner and services. But because our long history to work with the documents, we are the MFD supplier, we are the manufacturer, we are the one that provide you the technology previously. We are the right point for you to ask, because we have the data from our customer on how to prevent things, on how to encrypt things. Okay, these are the 2 elements of data protection. When we talk about prevention, we are talking about data loss prevention software. It can detect potential data breaches, data exfiltration, transmission, and prevents them by monitoring. Basically, it's more on monitoring part. Encryption is more like how you protect the confidentiality of data by putting a password or this encryption, AES-256, etc. But even though we have these 2 software in your company, okay, you can directly Google it and read from Wikipedia, but these 2 things cannot protect your data once they are going out from your IT networks. That's a problem, meaning that you need something that goes beyond the boundaries, goes beyond your network. Let's say I have a file here. Just imagine this is a virtual file. And then I pass it to someone else. And then that person brings out that document with his or her laptop. And then what will happen to that particular document? Can we trace it? Can we monitor the status of the document? How can we ensure that that particular person used that document as what we planned for them to do? Sometimes we pass something to another person. Maybe it will be our colleague, our partner, but we don't know whether he or she going to leak out that information. We don't know. We have seen a lot in the political scene, so we don't know. We don't want to talk about that. All right. So let's see here. When we talk about data protection without boundaries, we need to talk about the terms used here is persistent. Without boundaries, persistent. Okay, meaning that it protects your sensitive file within and outside from your corporate networks. Let's visualize a bit on how it does it work. Okay, let's say you have a company and you have a business partner. Normally what will happen is we always focus on the number 1. What will be the number 1? External threats. the malware, the virus, whatever you want to call it. So we always focus on that. Basically, most of the organization will have their own antivirus software. They will have a way to protect their environment. So it's good. But the internet threats, if someone come into your office, take out something and bring it outside, yes, we can report the police. We can lodge a report. We can trace back what has been stolen by from your company. But can we make sure that the file that has been bring out from your company office will not being used or misused by the person itself? We don't know. Human error, this will be the biggest factor from our internal employees. Normally we just send email, oh, I sent the wrong attachment. Oh my God, how can I retrace back whatever we have sent outside? It's quite normal. And last but not least, indirect leakage. This is what happened when you pass something to your trusted and beloved third party or partner, or maybe your loyal customer. We don't know how they can change throughout the time. This is just the matter of how we visualize the whole thing. It can be different way from the end user point of view. Just now, it's just the situation that can happen. But from IT point of view, what normally happen at the end user, a typical one, they will ask a lot of things on how to do this, to do that. Let's take an example. Because I started with Tan Sri Muhyiddin, our Prime Minister, then I would like to quote Makcik Kia here. Okay, like let's say like, Makcik Kia is no longer selling goreng pisang. Now she is very advanced or having her own office. All right, and then she got an issue on the IT, of course, when she want to share something. So Makcik Kia said here, I have sent the wrong file attachment out. Can I delete it? Well, from IT point of view, normally we say, try recall the email. But what if the recipient already downloaded the file, the attachment? Can you do anything about it? Not really. I need to send this file to my business partner, but can I prevent him from circulating the file? Well, how can we control that? Totally no. And then maybe she can ask even further. I need to send my customer list to the outsourced telemarketer. Can I prevent him to print or copy my data out? When I say here, copy my data out, meaning that you can screen capture, you can copy from Excel file, put it into a different type of file. It can be done that way. So is it possible? Impossible. Last but not least, she will ask something like this. I am to send this proposal to my customer. Can I have the file to self-destruct after certain numbers of days? What will happen here? Much. That's sure. With our new tools here, we can guarantee you that Mission Impossible by Tom Cruise is no longer impossible. It's possible. You can become your own Tom Cruise right now with the final code, data protection without boundaries. It can be your file security solution by persistently protect all your information in your organization, anywhere, everywhere. Information right management is the right category for final code. It's a subset of digital rights management, so it will protect your sensitive information from unauthorized access. So if the person who received the file did not authenticate themselves, so they won't be able to access, even though they has been given that file. But if they are not allowed in the system policy setting, he or she will not able to view or do anything with that file. Final code have these three features, which I'm going to go one by one. First is strong security. Secondly, persistent monitoring. And number three is flexible control. What does it mean with strong security? Final code has this restrict file access. It will restrict based on the identity of the person. It can also have a policy modification according to what can be allowed to that person to do. Copy, print, scan, or maybe we can put a watermark. Because why? All of us has this, what we call as mobile phone, smartphone. We can just snap a picture and then leak out the information. But when we have the watermarks, we can detect from where the source came from. All right. Persistent monitoring. We can centralize file activity history. We can update the status notification from time to time from where laptops that the person used to open up the file, because we can detect the IP address. And flexible control. Just imagine you have given a certain permission and suddenly that person quit company in 24 hours notice. What will happen then? All right. The thing here is you can adjust accordingly by modifying the policy according to your time, and you can remote delete. This is what I explained earlier. You can be your own Tom Cruise by reimagining back the possibility on how to do that. All right. So this is just a teaser on Final Cut. I'm going to do a quick demo after this and try to maintain your view on the final code category, IRM. All right. So how to identifying the issues and risks. Normally, we're going to talk based on business process. From business process, we can know what will be the business outcomes. In the earlier part of my presentation, I explained that we need to predict what will happen in the future. That will be the ROI, right? So now, in identifying the issues and risks, we need to go through the process in the office. First, of course, you create a document from your workplace, and then you want to send the document to another party. And then you're going to receive, the other party will receive the document. And last but not least, of course, we are talking about the storage. It's simple as that. No need to go beyond that. Only 4 things that need to be focused now. So what happened during this process? Number 1, lack of security policy. A lot of companies have their own security policy. I can't deny that. But how can they ensure that the document exists in the shared folder? And because there are no restriction on who can access, share, or print. Yes, you can set a security policy based on the Windows Explorer there, put a permission, etc. But when we talk about document, once the document is being out from your organization, how can you protect your document? Number 2, no monitoring, no file tracking. Okay, this quite normal for those who don't have document management system. Even though you have a document management system, doesn't guarantee you, because you only have the audit log to monitor everything that happened in the DMS. But what happened if the end user download the file from your DMS and bring out to elsewhere or put it in other medium like cloud storage and etc. You can't control, right? And then you have internet threat, which I explained earlier. Someone in your organization maybe bring out or leak out their information. And last but not least, data leakage from negligence. This happen when you work remotely. Because why? Sometimes we are we want things to be more faster than before. So sometimes when we read from our mobile phone, maybe we read some sensitive information, we just screen capture from our phone. With screen capture, we send through WhatsApp. That's quite normal. Happen everywhere, because they just don't want to forward the email or maybe go through a right procedure. So most of the time it will be screen capture, take a photo, pass to your colleagues. Yeah, that's quite normal, right? This is where the problem happened. How can you protect your document when it became a picture? It became a JPEG instead of the whole document. So Final Code can protect that from happen, because we can disable the screen capture process and we can disable a lot of things from that particular document metadata. Okay, so what will happen if all these things happen? Negative reputation. When the data goes public, it will bring a significant damages. When we talk about significant damages, well, I can agree that some of you maybe say that, yeah, we can still doing it traditional way, and the average cost of data breach, that's what will happen if we don't have the right way of doing it. That's a typical way of people saying that. But we need to look even further than that, because 53% of companies had over 1,000 sensitive files open to every employee. Even you have the right way, SOP, etc., but you still need to look from this point of view. Every company had over 1,000 sensitive files, and the file itself can be accessed to many people in your organization, and 34% of data breaches involve internet actors. You can be a digital Luddites, okay? For those who studied about the Industrial Revolution in late of 19th centuries, there's an organization called Luddites, Luddites. They go against the digital tools. During that time, it's no digital tool, but they call it as a textile machine. They're afraid that once they purchase it, we're going to have less manpower in the workplace. No. We don't talk about that way, but we're looking forward. What will happen then? Fast forward. If this happened during the time before we had this COVID pandemic, over the past 10 years, there has been 300 data breaches. Let's forget about this first. Just imagine right now, we are working remotely, we have hybrid office, it will increase even more than this. This is what we can predict from now on. So we need to have a superpower, the power to protect your file, the power of final code. So if you use the final code, I'm not doing the hard selling here, but just explain that how the final code works. Number one, while you're creating your document, you can secure directly. Because why? All your documents will be compiled as the .fcl extension, meaning that it will be using the FCL to cover your document system. And then you can send using that particular format. The one that receive it, you can monitor when and where the document has been opened. And last but not least, you can control. Let's have a look on how the function will be. So number one, when you secure here, you can see the permission and policy, what type of document that you need to secure, who can do what. You can set copy, disallow copying, printing, scanning, or maybe you can even set a time for the recipient to look how many times, let's say 3 times. After 3 times, what happened? Oh, it will go deleted. You can't find it even in the recycle bin. So just imagine how powerful is that. Number 2, when you send someone, you send in a very secure communication channel. This I would like to promote a bit on our Fuji Xerox MFD, multifunctional devices. We are the only company that can provide final code application in our MFD. How good is that? You don't need to have desktop client. You just need to scan from our MFD API spot. Directly, it will be secure. Wow. That one will be further elaborated by my colleague after this, by Mr. Zen. He will explain the first line defense using our Fuji Xerox machine. All right, so stay tuned for that. It will be very interesting. You can ask a lot of questions. Number 3, you will know who view what, and you will receive a notification on that. And last but not least, you have the control. You can change the policy. You can set and reset the permission of the document. So this is how it looks like. We're going to a bit faster on this because I want to show you how it works in the demo afterwards. So the positive impacts here, of course, is quite straightforward, but I just want to highlight the security policy criteria here. If you want to purchase something, if you want to look onto a digital tools that can help you to enhance your security level, try to look at these 4 things. First, it must be seamless. And second, easy to use. Most of the time, a lot of software out there, very good, very fantastic. The features complete everything, very comprehensive, but very hard to use. Then what happened? Your end user will not use it. This is the typical problem. If you plan something, please hear from the insider. I'm going to share a lot of tips during my 3:30 p.m. talk track. We talk about how to go digital, even in details, but stay tuned on that. Persistent, I have explained even quite many times, and scalable. Scalable is very important. Sometimes we want to purchase something, but don't purchase too many things at one time. Start small, think big. Because why? This is to optimize your costs. We are talking about cost optimization, of course. We are not talking about how you want to spend your money, even though you are rich, but we need to start small and expand from one department to another department, or maybe one person to another person. So you can have a better overview on how you want to scale it up. Maybe in the next 5 years, everyone in the organization will be using the security software final code, maybe. So we need to make sure which one will be the most sensitive one first. Maybe finance, HR, you will start the whole process. It will become the pilot project for your company to start with. So try to put this in mind before you do anything. And these are the positive impacts. Prevent data breaches. This is a bit marketing, so I'm not going to cover too much because I know you would like to have a look on how how final code works. So let's go directly to final code in action. This is how the client desktop application will look like. You can set everything. It's very easy to use because everything based on the icons. You just need to set few things before you need to send it out to the recipient. So you can see from the right view here, okay, this one will be the status notification, and the left side there will be the client desktop. So I receive a notification from my colleague to be much more faster. So this is how the demo looks like. First, you need to drag and drop your, for example here, Excel file, put a security policy. You can set who will receive the document, and then you will have usage permission setting. You can check by allowing watermark or not. All right. So here, if you can have a look here, we can set even the changes of the file. You can set a custom message for those who are going to receive your document. For example, here we're going to put some message to doc. Okay, and then we can set a lot of policy at one time. Let's say you have 3 recipients, Doc, Claire, and Remy. So all these 3 persons will have their own policy permission. So we're going to have a look on one person only due to the time constraint. So you just need to secure your file using the final code, and then you can just send it using email or cloud, any cloud. The reason why here is Final Code is not a platform for you to transmit your file, but it will help you to secure your file before it goes anywhere. Okay, for example, this one. Just now I did mention about copying stuff. All right. When you copy up something, you can paste inside the same file, but you can't copy the information to another type of files. Like for example, I want to copy in a notepad. This is quite common. You can't do that. Just imagine how cool is that. You can still work based on that particular Excel file, but you can't use the information to another part of software. Means like Notepad or Words and etc. So you just work within that particular format. And you can save or you can disallow that. Okay, disable that so that the recipient will not able to do any editing if you would like to enforce that kind of security policy. And if you send it to a wrong permission, this is what will happen. Open permission, denied. That's just a quick one. I know there's a lot of more features. Unfortunately, due to time constraint, I'm going to skip this one, but please email me after this because I'm going to give you my email and ask for more demo and consultation. All right, so stay tuned. Just a quick one on the final code on MFD. This can be done using our APO Spot 7, the most secured monthly functional devices in the world. Wow. I put that claim. Very good. You need to hear from Mr. Zen after this, so stay tuned. All right, so final code by cases, you have a lot of cases. We can share with you, don't worry. If you need to, for us to present to you personally for your organization, we can do that as well. Okay, so in a nutshell or in overview of what I have presented to you today, I strongly advocate you to put these 3 things in mind: strong security, persistent monitoring, and also flexible control. So how Fuji Xerox can help? We can do personalization based on your customer experience. Don't worry, after this, just email me to kickstart your Fuji Xerox journey with a consultation from our side. We know that some of you will have your own pace. On your mark, get set, go. Either you go digital or go transform. Before I finish here, can I ask my marketing team, can I have time for Q&A or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
So Q&A, I just want to read a quick questions here. Hold on, yeah, I got a few questions. Okay, I just pick a quite common one because we need to do it fast. Just read it through. If I send my file to Final Code Server, am I going to share my information as well in the Final Code Server? Oh, this is the same question that we received yesterday. So I did put some notes here. Okay, this one a bit the final code architecture. Actually, we didn't send anything out. Means your information is not going to be shared in the final code server cloud. But what we're going to send here is only on the policy settings. You can see from the view here, policy and encryption key sent to final code server, not your document, not your information. That's one thing. So every time is the access being given to another person, they will only receive the access from the final code server based on the encryption key. All right. Last one. Sorry, I just need to do this one quick. Can you show how the department can? Okay, I need to read it out loud. Okay. How can an organization have a small step to start and then go big? Okay, I just interpreted that question that way. Okay, here is the way you can use it. You can, based on cell division, because you have a lot of sensitive files, try to identify which file that is very sensitive according to which department. This one a quick one. So I only can accept 2 questions. Sorry for the time constraint, but drop me an email. You can email.
Farhan, we have one question from Zeti, who also joined us yesterday. Her question is, what is the difference between Final Code and Azure Document Protection? Is there a significant advantage for Final Code?
Okay, actually it's the same category. If you are referring to Azure Digital Rights Management, Azure DRM, we can say that it's the same category with Final Code. There is pros and cons using both of this, but like for example, Final Code, we have this FIPS certified, even though I heard that Azure Digital Rights Management do put it in their website that they claim that they have this FIPS security level certified. I can't see it yet. So far, only Final Code that has this FIPS at quite high level. If I can quote quite fast, if I'm not mistaken, it's FIPS level 1. Yes. But at the end of the day, as I explained, it will be in the same category of IRM and DRM. So if you are using Azure DRM, it will work almost the same way. It's just that there is a pros and cons. There is a good part on the Final Code because Final Code can make your file to be secure easily from the end user. All right. So I hope that answered that quickly. In overall, if you want to do some window shopping, okay, just Google on the digital rights management, Azure, I think have AWS and also the Alibaba, if I'm not mistaken, they are starting to do something on that. But we are looking at a market where the end user can involve in this process. So that's why Final Code, we put it as a seamless and easy to use. So everyone are aware on how to use it and it will be end user approach instead of the whole infrastructure approach. I hope I answer you that, Zeti. Thank you for continue to watch our digital DocuWorld until today. Really appreciate that. So I think that's all. If you would like to watch on the COVID Digital, the right way to go digital, stay with us today, 3:30 p.m. There's a bit of teaser here, DocuSign. Okay, I will include this one afterwards. Yesterday we didn't cover on this, but I just put a bit of teaser here. So I need to pass the stage to Mr. Zen because it's already 10:50. I'm very sorry for the time constraint here. I'll pass back to Eva. Thank you so much. Stay tuned.
Thank you very much, Farhan, for a very informative presentation you have for us, how to maximize cost optimization while securing your document. Okay, due to the time constraint, we cannot answer all the questions. However, don't worry, Farhan will come back to you, will capture all these and reply you later. Okay, our next section will be covering the topic enabling the first line of defense with your office devices. by Mr. Zen Yong, the Marketing Manager of Enterprise Document Solutions. I'm sure this topic will be of great interest to all of us because we'll be learning the simple yet effective ways in ensuring information security and protection at every step of our business processes, right from the office devices and beyond. So, the floor is yours, Zen.
Thank you very much, Eva. Okay. Very good morning, everyone. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is, of course, Zen Yong, as introduced by Eva. And today, it's with great excitement for me to share a bit on how we can actually protect your businesses, especially from the very first front line of it. And before we even go into protecting our businesses, we have to understand a bit on what is happening in the market and in the situation of outside. And moving forward, of course, after the COVID-19 era, it's a very unique situation. Now, before I start on how we can actually protect your businesses, let me share a bit on a journey through time. As many of you know, we've expanded and evolved. The world has expanded and evolved from, of course, the Industry 1.0, where back then there is all the mechanization, all the factories start coming out, and then it moves into Industry 2.0. Where Industry 2.0, we have, of course, the mass production, assembly lines, right? And then we move into Industry 3.0. 3.0, we are all very familiar. That's where we still remember the first CPU, our computer, where we start getting very excited with the gadgets, the phones. That time we still have the dial-up internet, right? Now today, the world is talking about no more the dial-up internet. We're talking about Industry 4.0. So it's a very big term, and sometimes people also may not be very familiar. What are we talking about in Industry 4.0? That's why today, even before we talk about trying to protect ourselves, let's understand a bit on what we need to protect against and what kind of era we're talking about. Now, Industry 4.0, there are a few criteria that comprise of it. The first one, of course, we talk about big data. When we have big data, it means where we have all the artificial intelligence, we have all the analysis to make the best decision, the most accurate one. Then we talk about all the automated processes. That's where humans are skipping all the manual work. We're trying to work things smarter. And of course, how can we miss the world of internet, where now we can work anywhere, we can work anytime, and then we can store our information on the cloud. With our phone, we can immediately view all the information. And if we want to find more information, we can always say, oh, we go and ask Mr. Google. Lastly, more importantly is, of course, where we have all the technology, right? There must be certain cybersecurity initiatives to come in. And because there are different types of threats. Yes, we truly are living in a world that with a lot of technology. But then the question comes in, this is Industry 4.0. How deep are we actually for Malaysia? How advanced are we in Industry 4.0? Well, to be honest, we are not that far away. In fact, we are quite advanced. If you can see, there are a lot of initiatives, even in our Malaysia budget, that is to boost Industry 4.0. We have all the digital transformation initiatives. More so, if you can see all these public newspaper clippings, they actually show that not only the private sectors, but even the public sectors, the government sectors are also moving towards big data plans. On top of that, of course, we can see TM1 moving into digital businesses, partnering and adopting automated processes. More so, we can see more and more companies shifting their businesses towards the cloud business, especially after COVID-19 era, where now it's a new normal. A lot of things are being digitalized. So when we understand how advanced our technology already is, do you know what else is growing? Of course, the security threats. And that's why we're all here today, to discuss about it. Because you know why? People are getting more and more creative, misusing the technology for crime and also for personal gains. Don't talk about the world, let's talk about just Malaysia itself. Even before MCO, you can see that there are so many security breach. In fact, the one that I'm showing here now is recorded as one of the worst in Southeast Asia. The sad part, of course, is this. When you have all the cyber attacks, businesses, what happened? They will lose money, they will lose credibility, and the worst part is they will lose customers. And let me share a bit more also. The cyber attacks is not just targeting the big companies. They actually also target the SME companies. Why? Because SME companies, they also do not have that much of budget to even protect themselves. Or rather, they don't even want to invest that much in the security. Therefore, let me share a bit on some of the challenges that companies are facing, may it be big or small. Some of the challenges that they face in security. Of course, number one is they do not know how to actually protect themselves against crime data. Roughly because why? They don't think that the police could help, or they couldn't even have enough of evidence to actually catch the person who has done all this. Next, of course, is because of the people inside, their employees in the companies. The employees are also not aware. They are not trained, they are not equipped with the right technology to protect themselves against the cyber threats. And more importantly, as I said, most of the cyber threats and cyber incidents happen due to the people inside the company. Human error, because of the internal leakage. And I have a very simple question. That's why. My question is this. How do you actually protect your business from the increasing cybersecurity attacks? Yeah, in the past, when we talk about physical security, we can have CCTV, we hire more security guards, we put in locks here and there, we put in passwords here and there. But we are in an era of technology, like I mentioned. How do you protect against loss of data, loss of information? How do you protect against people stealing your information and leaking out all the P&C documents? And yeah, in the world of IT, we talk about cybersecurity. In the past, we say, yeah, we install firewall, we install antivirus. Yes, that can be done. But what about ensuring that your other office equipments are still protected, are still secured, are also put with multi-layer encryption? Okay, some of you may be thinking, to do that, I upgrade my system. I put in more resources, I put in more money to upgrade. Yes, that can be done. I put in more investments. That also can be done. I even hire more people. Also can be done. But today, I am here to tell you that without doing all this, Fuji Xerox, our devices, already can become your first line of defense to protect all of this. So, from our products, we secure from printing, from scanning, and even from the device security. I will explain one by one how we secure all these angles. Now, first and foremost, of course, whoever that uses the devices, there must be a certain level of security. And today, my first point, of course, is how we protect against the printing part. Whoever who uses, like I mentioned, there is a need for a certain level of security applied to the user. We also ensure that there is no accidental or intentional peeking of your P&C documents, yeah? And today, from this video demonstration, let me show you a bit of what I mean. if you can see in this video, in your normal office situation, we have different employees, and we provide the flexibility to print from any device in your company, and of course from authentication. We provide the authentication purposes. Now, authentication is important because why? Number one, we limit people from what they can do. Means with authentication, you can limit a person to only print, only scan, or only fax. That is part one of authentication. The part two of authentication is important because with authentication, you can actually trace what has happened with your device, who has leaked out all this information. That is the very first important thing, which is authentication. You can do authentication with your card, or you can even authenticate using numbers on the panel, ID numbers. Secondly, this is very important. When we want to print a document, this document is very important. It's a PNC document. One of the reasons why crime data happen or document leakage happen is because there is someone there at the printer, not you. You wanted to print a document, but there is someone else at the device that actually accidentally or intentionally steal that document. Look at that document, peek at that document. So today, we are sharing a very simple yet effective way how you ensure no one else is going to take your document that you print out. And this is what we call secure print. As you see in this demonstration, we have a document we want to print, and through our function called secure print, once you print this document will not be released immediately. It will only be released when you move to the device and you yourself, with your authentication, with your ID, print the document out. In fact, after you print, you can even delete it from the device itself. And that's how you ensure no one else, only you, can collect this document. Next, of course, may it be PNC document, may it be any documents. Today, if I want to print a document, and I only have about 4 pages to print, what I'm going to do now in this video, in this demonstration is, yes, I print a 4 document, I choose a machine, a device, like what you see in the video, AppioSpot, and I print a 4-piece document, yeah? However, sometimes in the office environment, it's very common, we go to the device and we see our colleague standing there, and then she tells me, I'm sorry, I need to print a lot of pages, I'm going to wait half an hour. What do we do? Do we wait? No. With our solution, you can go to any other devices and release your print job. Even though you have clicked the device in the first place, any device that you click, you can release it at any other device. That is why 2 things here. Number 1, you can make sure that whatever that you printed out will not mix with your colleague's printing also. Number 2, you can make sure that when you want to print something, you don't have to wait anymore. We can still practice social distancing, we can move to other device to actually release your print job. So this is the benefits from, in terms of printing, the security measures that we have instilled in. Now next, we've talked about printing. More importantly is what we do with the device in terms of copying, in terms of scanning. Because most of the time, when you talk about copying, it's the most convenient way how people can steal your documents. I have a PNC document, I take your document, I use your device, the office device, to copy, and then I take it out of the office. I pass back to you the original document. This can happen. In fact, this is one of the most common reasons why data is being leaked out. But with our technology, what you can do is, you can print your document or even copy your document and put a watermark there. This watermark effect is very important, very useful, even though it's very simple. Now, when we put a watermark effect on your document, maybe copy or print, what happened is, in this demonstration, we print out, and if you can see in the prints later, there is actually a very vague image of that waterprint mark. However, if anyone else takes this watermark printed or copied document and they try to do another copy again, let me show you what will happen. As you can see on this video, this person actually tries to copy a watermark document, and there's a very big error that comes out. It will not allow you to copy this document. This is a very important feature where you can use all your P&C documents if you want to ensure that you don't want this document going out at all. You can actually print and copy this document with a secure watermark. That will protect your office documents from being leaked out. That's just for copy, yeah? But what about scanning? Most of the time, okay, once you use the device, you scan out. The main concern is I scan and then it goes to a common folder and other people will start looking into it. Other people will start taking the documents. That is number one. Number two, the worst scenario is, oh no, I scanned to the wrong person. I scanned to the wrong location. What will happen? The person will then view your document. How do we protect this? With Fuji Xerox, our devices is a very simple solution, yet effective once more. When you scan your document, you can scan it into PDF, you can scan it to any other file format, but you can do a very simple thing to add in encryption. As shown in this video demonstration, before you scan your document, you can actually add in a password. And this password, of course, you can put whatever password that you want, but you are the only one that knows the password. So you can put in maybe alphanumeric, you can put in maybe only numbers. Besides that, you are the one that also can set how complicated your password you want it to be. Can maybe 128 bit or 256 bit, up to you. But with that password, you know what effect it does? The effect is whatever scan file that you scan out, maybe to your own laptop, maybe to other people, it is encrypted with a password. No one else but you can open this file. That's why when you see in this video demonstration, we scan in the document, we put in a password, and next, what we do is, we open the folder, we try and open the file. The first thing that it prompts is you need to key in the password. With this feature, do you still need to worry, oh no, I sent to someone else mistakenly? Do you still need to worry, I sent to a folder that anyone else will view? In fact, you don't even have to worry if you're sending the file to your own personal laptop. Maybe your laptop got spyware, got worm, got Trojan, but that file cannot be opened if there is a password that you yourself only know. Okay, yeah, I've talked about printing, I've talked about scanning, copying, but now we live in an era, the new normal, where a lot of things work from the cloud. Before I even go into why we want to work from the cloud, let me share a bit of the dangers of laptops and mobile phones. One of the dangers is because these electronic items can be compromised with viruses, with Trojan, and therefore that's why from Fuji Xerox, we have prepared a platform for you to actually work on the cloud using our devices. You can print and scan your files using our platform. As simple as just one app, which we call the Cloud Service Hub. If you see in this video demonstration, when you click on Cloud Service Hub, there is a first level of defense where you need to key in your user ID and your password. And if you do an operation, then you will realize that, oh, you can actually connect to all the cloud services that you're familiar with. Google Drive, Dropbox, and whatnot. And then when you open into those cloud services, you seem to see that, very familiar. All the folders and file names are quite similar. If you print a file, in fact, on the left, you can see there is actually a preview. You can preview the file before you print. Now, once you print this file, with all the settings you can click, maybe you want to print double-sided, color, black and white, all these functions and features can be done on the panel itself. on our devices itself. So you don't have to risk using cloud on your electronic devices. You don't have to bring the laptop or your devices also. With that, you can immediately print out your documents already. So that is the first cloud defense. Now, secondly, we've also thought about, we are working from home, the new normal, right? However, sometimes we sign documents online, we sign it and then we upload it into the cloud, and we need these documents to be printed out also. Printed out and hand over to someone in the office. Normal situations, I have to go to the office or I send email and then I have to ask the person to go and print, and then I have to be concerned on how the file is being transferred. But with our solutions, you can do all this with just your mobile phone or even your laptop if you want to, from anywhere. In this video demonstration, let me show you. This person is actually at a cafe and he actually wants to print a document. So he opens up an app called Cloud On Demand Print. What he does is he actually uploads the file that he wants to the cloud and printing it out through the cloud. But the document doesn't release out yet. What happens here is the app actually will give you a printing reference number. And this printing reference number is the code for you to release the print job. So with this printing reference number, you can pass this printing reference number to whoever that you want to pass the hard copy document to. So let's say you've passed to Mr. A. Mr. A goes to the machine, and then Mr. A will click on Cloud Demand Print. And then what he needs to do is just to key in that printing reference number, which you have actually generated. By keying it in, automatically, he can actually choose to print the job out already. So you don't have to go to office to print the printing anymore. You can actually print it through this. And there's no reason, oh, I missed email, or I didn't see your email, I cannot print out. With the printing reference number, you can immediately ask someone to print out the job, or you yourself can make sure that your print job is collected by you. Okay. This is the very most interesting part of all, because we've covered all the printing, scanning, copying, cloud. All this is all people-based, action-based. But for this, even if you don't do anything, you leave the machine there, it is already a firewall by itself. It is already a security measure by itself. Our devices, why it is the most secured multifunction device. That's why today I want to share this with you. There are a lot of features in this, but I will just pick the three main ones to share. Number one, our device actually has a lot of data and information transmitting around from other laptops to the device itself, right? Now, supposedly if there is information that comes into the device and it has a virus, other devices, of course, there may be a risk because a virus enters the device. But for us, of course, what happens is, even before that data moves into the device, it is being filtered and translated. Two things are filtered and translated into what we call a printer language. Now, this printer language then makes it virus-free. So whatever information or data that goes into the device itself, number one, it's already virus-free. Number two, when the information is being transmitted into our devices, it is transmitted through a very secure protocol. We call it the SFTP. Now, SFTP then prevents all the other people to try and hack into the device, the network, and try and steal the information in the process of transmission. That is the first one, the language and how the data is being transmitted. Number two, a very common place where people actually try and steal your information is by stealing your hard drive. Very simple. I steal your hard drive, I don't need to even care about anything else. I try to extract the information inside. And most of the time what happens is this. Other devices, when they have the hard drive, although they say I delete, actually do you know, nothing is deleted permanently when they press that. Because that information is still stored in what we call a temporary information folder. So that is where people actually steal your information, in case you do not know. But for us, we realize and recognize this. So there are a few things that we did. Number one, our hard drives, we actually put data encryption into it. So that is the first level. All the data inside the hard drive is already encrypted. Number two, let's say you say, I want to remove the hard drive, I want to change the hard drive, or I want to give back the device. This, what we do is we call the override function, hard drive override function. With this, you know what happens? When we press delete, we have a permanent delete function that entirely removes all the data inside the hard drive. So there is no way anyone else can retrieve the data that you put in. Okay, now number three, in this industry, when we say admin mode, the admin mode most of the time is very common to everyone already. You open admin mode, wow, you can access everything. But not for us. We've actually created some limitations to the admin mode. And there's only one mode that can access everything, which is what we call the restricted engineer mode. And this is only restricted to particular PICs in Fuji Xerox. So that's why with all this, we protect the viruses, the hacking, we protect against the hard drive, and we brought it up to one more level. We installed a microchip inside, which is called Trusted Platform Module. Let me explain a bit how this microchip works. Now, you have a hard drive, right? A hard drive is meant to store information, right? Did you know that sometimes, most of the time, all the passwords that you put onto your device is also actually stored on your hard drive? So if I want to hack into your device, what I do? I just hack into your hard drive, I try and dig out the passwords on your hard drive, and then your device is gone. So sorry to say lah. But with us, when we have a trusted platform module, this is separated from the network entirely. And this microchip actually stores all your passwords. Yes, you heard it right. We do not store passwords on your hard drive. We store the passwords on the Trusted Platform Module microchip. That's why with this microchip, it enhances the encryption of the entire device. It prevents all the tampering, the hacking, and no password is stored on your hard drive. Therefore, it creates a very secure security for your business to operate safely. Well, due to time constraint, of course, I have a lot more to share, but due to time, for today, this is as much as I have. We've covered on printing, scanning, copying, and even the device security. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to take them at this point of time.
Okay, thank you very much, Zen, for the enlightening presentation. Now we have a better understanding on how we can ensure information security and protection with our office devices. Okay, let me see. I think we have a few questions here for you. For those who would like to ask your questions, please type it into the Q&A panel. Okay, the first question to you is from Carl. For the user authentication feature, what if I have multiple units in multiple floors in my office? Do I have to set up the user information, each device in different floors?
Okay, for that question, thank you very much. So the answer is very simple, because once you use our device in terms of our solution, you don't have to set up multiple times. Once you set up one time for user authentication, you can actually move to different floors under the same network. You can actually use the same authentication on different devices. So this is also one of our serverless feature. On top of that, maybe some of you may not want to use the ID card, right? So in fact, your ID card can be used like your authentication card, whatever authentication card, maybe MyFair or maybe the HID proximity. These cards are very common in your office environment, and you can actually combine them to use for a single feature. Now, let's say you don't want to use ID cards. You can actually use even the ID itself. You go to the panel, you put in your ID number and the password, and it works the same way. All right, thank you for that.
Okay, the next question is from Mila. I saw the control panel seems like it comes with many icons, apps. Are those icons able to rearrange according to my preference? What if my other colleague wants to have different preferences? How can we do that? Can we set differently for each individual?
All right, very good question. Like I've mentioned just now, very important is to limit whatever that your people are doing with the device. Because some people, if they're smart, if they're very IT savvy, they try and play around with the device and they try and abuse it. So with authentication, what happens is you can actually set limitations to what any person can do. For example, user A. I want user A to only print. I don't want user A to do anything else. Only print black and white. That can be done. We can set that authentication limitation to this user and they can only print black and white. On top of that, not only you can set limitation of what they can do, you can even set a quota. For example, if you have a data history, big data, you understand that, oh, user A actually only print about 500 color copies a month. I want to set a limitation. I don't want user A to print more than 500 copies.
Zan, sorry, we are talking about the control panel now.
Yeah. So in terms of the control panel, you can rearrange all the icons and you can arrange all the apps also. So like I mentioned, you can choose what you want the apps to appear on the panel. If you don't want to have so many apps, maybe it's confusing, yeah? You only want a scan app and printing app. You can just set 2 apps and make a very clean operation for every different users.
The question is, if I would like to have different preferences on the control panel and my colleague would like to have a different preferences the way we arrange the icon and apps, can we actually customize that for each individual?
Actually, you actually can customize and move around all the apps. How you operate the panel is just like how you operate your iPad. You can move left, right, up, down. So it's up to you whether different users, when they log in, they can actually operate differently.
Okay, now we understand more on the control panel customization. Okay, what about this? Another question from Mei Lee. Is the secure watermark come standard in all your Fuji Xerox machine or only this device? Is it free?
Okay, of course, the secure watermark is an add-on option that when you add on, then it will create and help to provide you that feature of the secure watermark.
Another question here, how many types of watermark can we choose and can we customize it?
Yes, your secure watermark, you can actually choose based on, for example, you want the wordings or sentence or confidential, or you can actually even put your company logo based on your own preference of what watermark you want to set.
Okay, another question. I have a company network and guest network. Oh, this is from Haley. I have a company network and guest network separated in my office, and I'm not using any Wi-Fi connection. Basically, entire company are using LAN cable. Can I provide a separate device usage on my guest network using the LAN cable if I am using your FX machine? Is it secure?
Okay, if you are using separate networks to connect, basically the connection is still very secure because once it's connected and once data is being transmitted into a device, then it actually uses the secure file transfer protocol, and that's why you can secure the information that's being transmitted inside.
Okay, we still have questions for you, Mr. Zen. This is from Magdalene. Can I provide separate network for guests and my internal staff network using the same device? Is it secure?
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Can I provide separate network for guests
Okay.
and my internal staff network with using one device? Is it secured?
You actually can have a few ways of doing that. Number one is, for your own internal office, you can connect using the LAN cable. However, for guests, you can actually create a separate additional network using Wi-Fi, and you can provide the Wi-Fi password or ask your guests to connect into the Wi-Fi of the device. So in both ways, it can also create the same security level.
Okay, another question here. The cloud service in the future can be installed or not? Let's say if you have new cloud service.
Okay, for cloud services, actually, when you start the service, you can actually choose from what cloud services you want. And for example, if you additionally suddenly you say, oh, I'm initially using Google Drive, and then 1 year later, I want to use Dropbox. Yes, that is an add-on option that you can actually choose to subscribe to it. Of course, the amount of cloud services is the few that we have, like Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, and of course, these are the common ones.
Okay, that is the last question we have for you, Mr. Zen. Thank you very much. We have covered all of our questions. If you still have any questions, please type it into the Q&A panel. And thank you all for attending. Now, can you please scan the QR code or go to the link as shown on the screen now. Complete the form and submit it, and you might be one of our lucky winners to win a mystery gift from us. Thank you very much. The next section will start from 11 a.m. where we'll be covering the topic Rebounding Business and Accelerate Through Vital Applications by Mr. Wayne Lau, the specialist, and Ms. Azlin Abdul, the Senior Engineer of Graphic Communication Services.